everybody. Spider here, the Five Car Podcast, coming to you from San Antonio, Texas. My guest today, George Salinas. Of course, my man, you are in Raymondville, Texas, correct?
Yeah, sure am. Sure am.
Now, I wanted to bring you on here for a few reasons, of course, man. I mean, you have a shirt of something we're going to talk about, Pajaro. But I wanted to bring something else up real quick, man. You've actually worked with the mixed martial arts community through Hero FC back in the day.
Yeah, sure did. Jeff Manugli was my sensei, still my sensei, and brought me in. Did the motion graphics work, some of the television work for Hero FC. Designed a lot of the posters for the fighters and stuff, and like do a little jujitsu here and there.
No, of course, man. And I mean, of course, I want you to plug that in. I mean, this is a combat sports outlet, man. But you have a project you've been working on for a few years now because of COVID, of course, the delay. It is called Pájaro. Tell us a little bit about that, man.
Well, in 1976, a large bird-like creature descended and attacked my community in the Rio Grande Valley, and specifically in Raymondville. It was something that was an awful time in our history. It was something I never forgot about. And when I got to college in '83, I made a promise to one of my professors that I would make a movie about it after he called me out there. And he found me on Facebook a couple of years ago and reminded me, "Hey, did you ever make that movie?" I said, "No, sir, I never did." He said, "Well, you made me a promise." And so here we are. Thanks to Jeff. Jeff drilled that into me. You make a promise, you got to keep it. So here we are.
And man, I mean, being that when you were little, I mean, the stories like this, I mean, was it something that was told by your elders, like your family members?
Yeah, I mean, I was 11 when that happened, and my family was kind of involved in it. My aunt's kids were sort of attacked by it, and then she was telling my mom about it, and I wanted to go see it, so I took off and dashed. I wanted to go out the kitchen door. And never seen an old lady move that fast. I mean, she was probably like 30, but to me, she was, super old, right? And she grabbed me. She started crying. And this lady, my aunt Estelle, I've only seen her cry 3 times. She's the strongest woman I've ever known. She cried when her husband, my uncle, passed away. She cried when my mom passed away. And she cried when she was saving me from the pájaro. And years later, when we were doing the research, the second victim that was attacked by it, the one that was hospitalized, that we get the name pájaro from, he actually lived half a block away. And so probably if I had gone out that kitchen door, it probably would have gotten me. And he was a full-grown man, and he barely survived. He went into shock for a couple of days, and he still has all the scars from the attack.
Oh, man.
That's
No, yeah. And like I mentioned earlier, man, I mean, of course, you started this a couple of years back. COVID put a little delay on the project. But I mean,
sure.
sticking at it, man, and you're working a lot of hours, bro, trying to get the production, the music, everything set up.
Yeah, it's a lot. I actually had a jiu-jitsu injury to this hand. I got my hand caught in the sleeve of one of my opponents. Obviously, I lost that match, but I had nerve damage, and so I had no feeling in this hand for a while, and then it was hypersensitive. And so just to rehab my hand, I started playing guitar again. And a guy by the name of Robbie LeBlanc from Las Vegas encouraged me to start playing again. And so I started rehabbing, started playing guitar again. So then I still have enough of the musical gift left in me to do my own music and save some money. And but I got some local guys that are going to help me out as well.
No, for sure, man. And like I mentioned, I mean, you're still working at it. So, I mean, as far as production goes, I mean, what else do you guys have to look forward to?
We're going back into principal photography in 3 weeks. We just set that up actually last night. Antonio Villarreal is our main actor. He's the one he plays me in the movie. And then we're going to have the reenactments and all that good stuff. And so we've got the crane ready. We've got the drone ready. We've got all the cameras ready. And so right now we're just concentrating on writing what's called the blocking, which is where everybody's going to be, where the camera's in a certain place, and all that good stuff. And doing the final rewrites for what's called the backbone. Any documentary has what's called a backbone, which is we have what's called, you have your unscripted documentaries and your scripted documentaries. And this is obviously a scripted documentary because we're taking the scripts from the interviews that we did with everybody, all the attack victims and the eyewitnesses and all that. It was meant to be a lighthearted documentary at first, but real quickly it got real serious when we got kicked out of our first interview that we interviewed one of the attack victims, and one of my camera persons made a face, and he kicked us out, and he took off his shirt, and when we saw the scarring, he had two broken clavicles. He had scarring all over his upper back, all over his upper chest, and real quickly, we realized that we had to respect everybody and everything that happened. But yeah, just securing locations and all the legal stuff, talking to lawyers and all that good stuff. I'm still recovering from COVID. I'm almost 100%, but working out and not doing jujitsu or anything yet. But
Yeah.
on my way back. The next movie is going to have our next movie is going to be called No One to Keep Me. It's going to be a gospel mixed martial arts film, and I'm going to include some fighters. So I'll be calling up some of our old fighter friends to help me out.
No, definitely, man. And I mean, of course, I mean, you mentioned having to growing up during this incident, man. I mean, I had talked to you prior, and I mean, me growing up here in San Antonio, man, in the '80s, my grandma telling stories of the birds that used to come down from the mountains, and I don't recall exactly where. I mean, I just I mean, they used to tell us stories about La Llorona, of course, and other I guess folklore, But I mean, that big bird always stuck to me too, man. And when I saw you working on this, I said, man, I was interested. I wanted to find out a little bit more because even now, I mean, they're finding animals that they thought were extinct, and they're still out there. They're just in the middle of nothing, in Brazil, man, they find birds and animals out there that nobody's seen for centuries because nobody goes out there. So I gotta ask, do you think something out there in the world, man? Dying bird?
Yeah, it's been seen all over the world. Of course, we're going to address all that in the movie, but yeah, down south in places like Costa Rica and Brazil, it's called a ropin down there. Of course, it's been seen in Japan. There's places all over the world. I work in law enforcement, and one of the things that we do is we follow the evidence. So, despite people that get angry because they don't understand it or whatever, there's still evidence. You can't discount so many eyewitness accounts and the evidence that was there. We've talked to Texas Rangers, Sheriff's Department, the Police Department, all the eyewitnesses from back then. And you can't discount the evidence. These same people, through circumstantial evidence in a court of law, can put you to death.
Right.
You're talking about them finding new species all the time. I remember the silverback gorilla was thought to be a myth, like Bigfoot. And nobody believed anybody until we finally went into places in the Amazon, and there they were. And they were there for decades and decades, and nobody believed anybody. And now we have them in zoos and stuff.
No, that's true, man. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I mean, there's still things out there that we don't even know. I mean, for me personally, right now in San Antonio, if I were to see a big bird, I'd flip out, man. I ain't gonna lie, because we're not used to seeing that around these days. But the movie, I mean, what as far as production, once everything's said and done, where is it gonna be shown? I mean, is it gonna be like at like a local, like through DVD, video format?
Yeah. Obviously, the lawyers got to do their thing and the insurance and all that stuff. But we're hoping for a release on Amazon Video, on Amazon Prime, in January. Of course, January 1st was when the big sightings in Raymondville started to happen. So we're trying to work it out. We want to get done with principal photography, which is the filming of the movie, by late September, mid-September, and then have October, November, December for post-production. And that's when you add your sounds, you record the dialogue, you master the audio just like you're mastering a record. It shows how old I am, right? And so you do all that stuff, color correction, color grading, all that good stuff, and then send it off. So we're hoping for that for Tubi. We have some people that are in the industry. I worked in gospel television for a little over 20 years, and so I still have some of my old friends that are going to help me out. And we might go on the tour, the independent movie tour, starting in Vail, Colorado, and going to the U.S. tour. And there's some doors that might be opening up for the film to be shown in other countries. Of course, we have to go through those translations. Russia might be opening up. Of course, we have to see what goes on with the war that's going on right now. But yeah, we're looking at Luxembourg, Italy, Spain, some of the places that you see the shirts going. That's why they're going there. They're promotional shirts. They're meant. And I'll get you one. And
No.
so those shirts are out, and the caps. And so they're going out for promotion, and so yeah. So then and then it'll be free on Tubi once it's on Tubi, but on Amazon it'll be for rent. And not looking to make any money off it, but just want to get our story up there. You know, this thing happened to us. It was an awful time in our history, and it happened to us 40 years ago, and we just want to tell our story. And I don't know why, but the stories just somehow came to me, and people just kept coming to me with this happened and that happened, and stories I collected over the years. And so here we are. So we just wanted to, and there's a lot to it. There's a lot that's going to be incredibly surprising. Some of the things that came across my desk were unbelievable at first, but then, like I said, you follow the evidence. We use the same investigative techniques that are used in all law enforcement. And so following the evidence, yeah, this stuff did happen. People did see this stuff. These people were threatened. I've been threatened. Of course, being a mixed martial arts and having mixed martial arts friends, you know, one of the things you're talking about. I'm not afraid of anybody on this planet, man. So, but yeah, I've been threatened and all that good stuff. It's okay now. But once people realize that where I work, you know, that I'm in law enforcement and stuff like that, and that I'm a good guy, and I don't mean anything bad by it. But yeah, that's what's going on as far as production. So we're, you know, getting all the cameras ready and putting the lenses and getting ready. So yeah, it's gonna be a great movie. At least I think. You know, nobody sets out to make a bad movie, obviously. But yeah, but we hope it'll be good. Hopefully, get some of our San Antonio friends involved.
Right.
We'll be in San Antonio, I think next month, and so maybe we can do this again from you know,
No,
face to
no,
face.
yeah, I mean, I just wanted to get this just for now, you know, because I do definitely want to catch up later on. And if when you guys do decide to come to San Antonio, and of course go to the studio and sit down and talk about it. Now, as far as you know, you already mentioned the production, the shirts, the caps. I mean, you're going to be selling those after the movie or before?
Yeah, actually, they're going on sale today,
Okay.
and these were never intended for sale. Of course, this is going to be the cover of the DVD. And the reason we made shirts and stuff, people have helped us or helped me over the years, in one way or another, whether it was financially or whether it was just encouraging, or some people helped out with production, with camera work, or even, you know, with you know, encouraged me with martial arts parables or whatever, or Bible scriptures or whatever. And so we just made these up just as a thank you to everybody that's helped us out. Obviously, we wanted to give them to the people that we interviewed. And
Right.
some of them turned them down. They didn't want them. You know, so no, I don't want anything to do with that. But yeah, so they were just intended as a thank you. But then I posted it on Facebook and Instagram, and man, we got mobbed. I think when we put the caps for sale last night,
Yeah.
and they sold out. I think I had 100 and something, and they sold out in 10 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
So, and it's the same with the shirts. The shirts we're going to put them on sale later on today. Actually, you can probably announce where they're on sale right now, and they're $20, which is
Bro.
and so some of them will still be free to the people that have helped us out, and the rest will be on sale. And we're hoping to merchandise some more. Working on other stuff like the lunchbox. People don't use lunchboxes anymore. But back in 1976, lunchboxes were around. So, but yeah, that's the merchandise. Just
No,
helping the support.
I saw this shirt, and of course, it caught my eye. I mean, just you talking about the movie and throughout the years, man, just talking about working on it, and I was already intrigued. I was interested, and the shirt, of course, sells it. You know, it's a great drawing. Um, you talked about those helping you for the movie or just in life. You know, there's been a lot of good people coming through you, helping you, like you said, with whether it's a phrase or a verse, you know, in the Bible or scripture. But let me ask you, as far as yourself, man, every day, I mean, you say you work in law enforcement. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
do you kind of think day by day? I mean, as far as like with life, or I mean, how do you go about your normal day?
Um, my fiance says that most people wouldn't last 2 hours in my shoes. Um, I make the most out of little snatches of time. I'm always doing something. I have to be real careful not to wear people out, even after COVID. I don't have the energy that I used to have. But yeah, I'm always doing something. And there's an old saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And so there's a lot, if you think about it, what does it take to make a film? Whenever you see a film, you see the cast of credits at the end, you've got hundreds and hundreds of people. I don't have that, and I don't have obviously the financial backing, so I have to be real creative in other ways. But yeah, my typical day is I'll work a 12-hour shift at work, and then I'll have maybe like 5 hours of sleep, 6 hours of sleep, and then I'll work for 2 or 3 hours, whether it's working on scripts, talking to actors, working with the Jada Talent Agency, but they're taking care of the casting, practicing music, or learning about color grading. Of course, I've been doing that for a long time. Upgrading software, dealing with cameras, thinking about how we want to get a certain shot to tell our story. And there's a lot of decisions that have to be made. So there's a lot of people that I have to talk to, as well as the distribution, mailing out shirts, mailing out caps, all that good stuff. This morning I was talking to Antonio, who's our main actor, and he's working on a film. He's done some stuff for MTV, and so right now I think he's in Los Angeles shooting the film. And then when he gets done, and I think next week is his birthday. Actually, is on Saturday, so he'll be down, and then we'll get going. So it's spending time on the phone, spending time on Messenger, doing stuff like this, doing interviews. I haven't done any television yet because I worked in television, so I'm kind of staying away from all that. But yeah, that's what it takes. And if I have to make a little money, I might make a car commercial over here and there or whatever. I hate doing car commercials, but I'll do little something like that. But yeah, and COVID, obviously affected me, affected all of us. My entire crew got COVID during production. I got it the worst. It almost took me. I took my best friend about 2 weeks before I got it, and it was tough, man. I mean, it was real tough, and that was I wanted to quit just because of the tiredness from COVID. But DJ Fuentes is one of the fighters, and Jeff Benugli, they taught me something in jiu-jitsu. They keep moving.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu, you keep moving. You might find yourself in a crucifix. You might find yourself, in a hole you don't want to be in. Just keep moving, man. You got to keep moving. Sooner or later, you keep on moving. You keep on moving. You don't give up. You keep on moving. Sooner or later, you get out, and then you're on top. And as low as you feel one day, that's how high you're going to feel when everything is right. And I pray a lot. I'm a born again Christian, and so I depend on the Lord. And I'm in the Bible a lot. I read the Bible a lot. I started attending a good church about a year ago, First Baptist in Harnesville. And my fiance and I, we pray together. We talk a lot together, and she's great. Her name's Angela, and she helps me out a lot. She's also a writer. She's also in the industry, which helps a lot. So last night, I actually gave her the backbone script, and she takes out her pen and I said, well, the pretend like I don't have pride, that kind of thing. And don't be afraid of my feelings. And so she's, this doesn't make sense. This, your structure needs this, needs that, and she helps me out a lot. And she corrects me a lot when I use the wrong there, when I put THEIR instead of THERE. Mocks me. But then I get over it. I get over it, and it's back to work. And it's different things every day that I have to do. And it's not just me. I have a great team that has helped me out. Have illustrators. A guy named Vino that helped me out a lot. Luke, Armando, Leanna. Those people have helped me out immensely. Some of the fighters from Hero FC helped me out a lot. Okay, if you need any help, say I need somebody to come hold lights. Oh yeah, work out. Some of the lights are kind of heavy, and they help me out a lot. And encourage me, every once in a while I'll get a text from Sensei Benugli or somebody like that, or PJ or somebody, or Noe, and they'll say, hey, I've got this gym if you want to come work out. So I'm not ready to work out yet, man. Jiu-jitsu workouts are brutal, not quite there yet. But yeah, it's great to hear from guys like that. No, but, yeah, that's a typical day, whether it's playing the piano or the guitar or the saxophone or whatever, or writing or editing. That's my day. Or researching, do a lot of researching, or interviews. Some of the interviews are really serious, man. had this one lady who was actually kidnapped at gunpoint by her ex and thrown into a trunk of a car. He was going to kill her. He drove around the middle of nowhere, takes her out, gun jam, she kicks it away, and then right as he's about to grab the gun, they were attacked by the bird. This is in '76, and the bird saved her, but then tried to kill her. And so then I think about stuff like, what's a statute of limitations? You know, it's a kidnapping comes with a life sentence, you know, attempted murder, and so but you know, it's too much time passed for her to report it, and so those are things that a lot of that stuff we have to think about. You know, and we interview somebody and they say, well, you know, law enforcement threatened me. Well, what agency threatened you? Well, you know, it wasn't the sheriff's office, it wasn't the PD. I don't know. I think it was the feds or whatever. Those are things that will be addressed in the film. I've kept kind of quiet until now. You're the first I've told about it. But you have threats were made, and conversely, other things happened. So people said, well, you know, my dad promised not to talk about it, and these people came and talked to him, and then the next day we had a brand new truck, all paid for, house paid for. So yeah, stuff like that, and there's paper trails that we're following. It's a lot, man. It's a lot.
Yeah, so there's a lot involved. I mean, I'm getting more interested in this movie, man. I'm definitely looking to see, you know, what's going to be said. And I mean, of course, you guys said it's a statute of limitations. See exactly what you guys can put in there. But you know, as far as longevity, man, how long is this movie going to run?
I don't know, forever, hopefully.
Well,
We're just we've been working for it for a long time. I'm sorry, man, you're out there.
because I mean, could there be like a part two of this, or is this just going to be a one set?
We're thinking there's enough to it that we may have to make what's called a docuseries. We were in talks with Netflix. We're not going to go that route, but when we were talking to them, they were talking to us about making a docuseries, like a 3-part or a 4-part. But then when we talked to some other people that are in distribution, and of course, there's a guy named Joe Castro that is in the business, special effects guy, and he's warned us about stay away from this person. And he was on that list of people to stay away from. And he just wanted to make stuff up. He said, "Hey man, I've been waiting for this movie. I'm out of patience. Just make stuff up so we can finish it." Like, well, no, that's not what a documentary is. I think you're missing the point, guy.
Oh yeah, he's saying.
There's a lot to it, man. And then so yeah, but we're hoping to make it an hour and a half, and so we might make a website for people to continue, and if there's enough, because there's no way that we're going to cover everybody's stories, everybody from the curanderos that we talked to that were around at the time, one of the priests we talked to that was around at the time, a couple of pastors, victims, witnesses. There's so many, and there's a lot of people that never talked.
Yeah.
We interviewed this one guy, and he was talking about it. And he was talking about it to his family. One of his older sisters said, "Well, you know, I saw it," and they were talking about it. And her car was actually run off the road. But, and we had a really good guy named Robert Tribby who did the illustration for that one. And so we're going to film that reenactment. And she refused to talk about it for over 40 years because she was scared. And she's a tough lady. I mean, a real tough lady. She was actually one of my coaches that I didn't cross because, you know, she made me run laps. But she's a tough lady, and she never saw scary movies after that. Never wanted to see any movies that had birds in it after that. And she came and she granted me an interview, anonymously, so we had to film her, you know, in special lighting to where we didn't show her and then redo the audio on her voice, you know. But yeah, she gave us an interview, and it's pretty awful. And so a lot of the people that we deal with, you know, they suffer from PTSD. A lot of them didn't know it. That term wasn't around back then. And so some of these people, we we actually had to make calls and find them help. And so, sorry, it's one of the actors saying that he can't make it to the photo shoot tonight. We're doing headshots tonight for some of the actors. But yeah, there's a lot to it. So that's some of the things that I do every day. And distribution is another. I wish I could just film, just do filming every day, or just play my guitar every day. But there's a lot to making a film. People get impatient with me. Hey, when's this coming out? Man, you've been working on it for a long time. Well, COVID almost killed me.
Yeah.
And I had a cough for over a year after COVID, and I was tired all the time for almost a year after COVID. And I'm just now maybe maybe 90% back to where I was, but I'm still not there. I remember going back to church. I couldn't sing, and I used to be a singer. I could sing maybe half a song, and then I was just out of breath. So it took a long time to recover. But now I'm to where I think I can lift and carry equipment, lift and carry cameras, and all that good stuff, and do the blocking. And some of the acting, I'm going to be I have a very, very small part. I play myself. And I have a very, very small part in the film. And Antonio's going to take over and do the rest. But yeah, and talking to people like you, man. And I appreciate this, man. Thank you so much for the shout out. I remember martial arts days. The martial arts dear to my heart. I was a Kempo guy. I was a Kempo karate guy when I was very young. And then left it. And then Jeff got me back into it. We actually had a show called Crucifix MMA, and then that led to working with Hero FC and doing the motion graphics.
No, definitely. And that's kind of why I wanted to bring you in, because I've been following you for years, even after the Hero FC, of course. You always stay busy. Man, I do appreciate you, man. I'm going to bring you back as soon as you guys, or whenever you guys can make it to San Antonio, man. We'll definitely get you guys in the studio, and we'll catch where you are at that point with the movie, man. But I'm looking forward to it. George Salinas, man, anything you want to say before we wrap this up, bro?
Sure. Shout out to my fiance, Angela Raisa. Gonna marry you soon. And just thank you to everybody, especially from the Raymondville community, the Williston County Sheriff's Office where I work, our sheriff, everybody who's helped us out. Obviously, all the eyewitnesses for sharing so much of themselves with us, and I promise that we're going to treat this with the respect that it deserves. And thank you for all the haters and the people that get with me and catch me at HEB and say that those people were drunk and all that. And I know you're scared. I know it's something you don't understand. I know you're afraid, and I'm sorry. And I shout out to my church, First Baptist, who has supported me, my pastor, Pastor Weekwood, and everybody there. I don't get to make it to church a lot because I'm so busy, but they support me, man. They pray for me, and I can't thank them enough, especially when I had COVID. And thank you to you and to this podcast and all my friends from the Hero FC days and MMA. Got another movie called No One to Keep Me, which is a gospel mixed martial arts movie. And that's going to have some good martial arts, and hopefully I'll be able to get some of our friends from San Antonio, the guys that like Joel Scott and all those guys that are in San Antonio. Oh man, did I say his name? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that guy's name. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much, my sensei Jeff Manubli. And thank you, man. Follow Jesus, man. That's the only way. And get your shirt, get your cap. Support us, and we hope you'll like the film. It was an awful time in our history. Something happened 40 years ago. We're making a movie on it. We just want to tell our story. That's about it.
No, not a problem, man. Don't hang up yet. Everybody out there, Spider here, DeFi Car Podcast. Till next time, follow up.